Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am FiddlinJonny, and this is my Fiddle channel, but also Magic Review, and I know that you're really here for the Magic Review. If you're not familiar with the tune is The Wind That Shakes the Barley, but I know you're probably more interested in this, Marc Oberon's new release called The Insider. It's a new peak system that he has come up with and is really fascinating and interesting. So anyway, why don't you stick around, see if this product is of interest to you, and we'll get right into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Glad you're here. Let's just get into this. We're gonna do Insider by Marc Oberon. I realize my box is kind of a little messed up here. It arrived kind of a little bit dinged up. But at the end of the day, I don't care about the box. I care about the contents. So what is Insider by Marc Oberon? It is a peak device. And if you don't know what a peak device is a method in which you have somebody write down information and you are able to then know what they have written down on their piece of paper without your spectator knowing. And in this scenario, it is done with index cards. So you will hand out an index card, you'll have your spectator write down information on the front, or I guess on the back, either way, of this card, but preferably on the front of the card. They're going to return that card back into the middle of this, and then without your spectator knowing and in their full view, you will be able to peek that information without them knowing it. So I am right now able to hold this and see the information written on the card, and the spectator does not know that. So that is a nice aspect of what you can do with a peek device. So let's talk about what the heck do you get. So you're going to get the actual peek device itself. You're looking at the peek device right now, the peek device and a stack of cards here. You're going to get a second stack of cards as well, and you get the rubber bands as well with this. And you're also going to go ahead and get an hour-and-a-half streaming Vimeo video with this as well. So, and I got, in terms of when we talk about the cards, I got 61 cards in my order. So that means I've got 61 performances that I can do. You can order refill cards from Marc's webpage, which is awesome. I'll leave a link for that at, I think it's what, it's at oberonmagic.shop, and you can get refills there. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about the instructions. You're going to start off with Marc giving the instructions. He's going to go through the peek device itself, how it works, its construction, and then he's going to run through different ways in which he gets the peek and routining. The next half is an hour-long interview with Aaron Calvert. He is a UK mentalist, and that, in my opinion, is the best part of this tutorial. Aaron does such an amazing job just riffing on different ways in which you can get the peek and how routining that you can do with it. And he provides a lot of interesting subtlety, use of language, psychology that I think really helps when you're want to create a really powerful performance. And at the end of the day, with a peek device, the truth is we all have lots of different peek devices, wallets galore that utilize peeking methods. I think what's more important in terms of is how you do the reveal or how you routine once you have the information, I think is probably more valuable. And that, in my opinion, on this tutorial portion of it is the best part of it. I know masterclass is used, and I think it's used over too much. Like in an hour, is a masterclass really an hour long? If I want a real masterclass, I think it should be longer. But with that said, really good with Aaron Calvert. All right, so let's see, what else you need to, the one thing I would say about the instructions, I personally would have loved instructions on how to make the gimmick itself. Now the gimmick itself is handmade by Marc Oberon. It's super high quality in terms of it, but I would have loved to know exactly how he made it. So, but I imagine he sees that as proprietary and didn't want to teach that, and I understand that. All right, let's get into, because I know what you care about is how is the gimmick. There's some little pros and cons here, some subtleties in my opinion. It is, and I say this with as a compliment, this is a low-tech analog way in which to get a peek. And the nice thing about this gimmick is that you're looking at it, it's in plain sight. I don't think it raises any suspicions. You're simply pulling out an index card in order to get somebody to write down information, and that's it. So it's nice in that respect, is that it is not suspect, and it would be difficult for somebody to reverse engineer the method in which you're getting the peek. So let's see, what else I want you to know about the gimmick. It's pretty durable. Now here's where I'll get into like nuance and subtlety about durability. Will this probably eventually wear out? I imagine it will. But before it wears out, I should get hundreds and hundreds of performances out of this without any problem. Marc does address in the video that this part here, which is part of your gimmick, has like a light plastic coating on it because it will get dirty over time and you can just wipe it down, which I really appreciate. I don't even kind of, to be honest, notice that it has a coating on it, but we all know we all have our decks of cards, and after a while they just get kind of gross and grubby and dirty, and I think in a professional setting I want to make sure that I can keep this clean. So while I haven't needed to clean it down yet, that is something I'm aware of with this. So let's see, it's durable. I don't think I mentioned that the peak area on this is really large. So that is nice, is that the peak area is large. You can get 6 pieces of information from this card because the view area is really awesomely large. He's also made, I think, the spaces on these lines a little wider than a traditional index card, which means people will generally write a little bit larger and therefore make it easier to read when you want to get that quick peek. So, and it's not the sort of thing where you need to get a quick peek, in that if you want to stare at it for a long time, they provide routines that give you more than ample time to look at it, come back at it, and see your peek. All right, I will add one slight thing here. I felt like on my peek device, like when it's opening up, there is a slight sound on there, and that might be noticeable to some people, but I think ambient noise in a room probably will, make it so that people don't notice. And you'll notice there, or may not have noticed, I opened and closed the peek device. The use of this rubber band, I think, helps to mask the sound that you might be opening your peek device. So again, there I did it again, and snap of your rubber band, it's not noticeable. I think that's me being nitpicky, to be honest, but for you, if you're considering purchasing it, it's the sort of thing like, oh, I would have liked to have known that. So before I purchased it, would have stopped me from purchasing it. All right, let's talk a little bit about what the skill level is here. Wait, but before I do that, let's talk about the gimmick. You can go ahead and purchase refills of your cards through Marc's shop. They're going to be, he already has them on his webpage for £9.99 for a stack of 80 additional cards. So you could try to go out and see if you can find these cards anywhere, but I did a quick search on Amazon. I found it, couldn't find exactly the same cards. I think he's clearly had these custom made, and I would probably just order them from him, especially if you're a worker. It's just simpler. Or you could have somebody go to a printer and have them make a copy of these and have them printed out, which would probably be cheaper. I'm probably just going to buy them from Marc's shop. All right, let's talk about the skill level. A monkey or a moron could perform the peek on this. And that's not to say that every beginner can do this well, but essentially it's a hinge system, and if you know how to open up a hinge system, you can do this, right? And you can see the peek. I think if you want to be really good at this, you must practice your performance. You must take the time to watch the instructional video, really take heart and note of the not the methods, but the routining, the subtlety and psychology of the language that is used, if you want to do this really well. Could you do it right out of the box? Absolutely. You might have some angle issues that you need to be aware of, slight, but small angle issues. and it may not look great. I think it really is the performance piece where if you want to be great, where you would need to really focus on. So, and there are some handling issues, but that's my opinion. A beginner monkey moron could do this. But I think if you want to be good at it, take the time to practice and watch the instructional video and build that skill level in order to do this really well. All right. Also, pros. It's a real worker. I honestly think if you're a worker, this is perfect. You will understand right away in terms of all the things that you need to know to be able to create a really good effect utilizing this peak device. A lot of us use peak devices, like some are really expensive, like the electronic ones. They can be $1,000 or $2,000. That's very expensive. I like that this is a cheap, affordable way. Also, a lot of us use peak devices in our wallets, which are great for casual. I think if you're in a little more professional setting, I like this as opposed to pulling out my wallet because this just seems better fit for a parlor or stage performance rather than sort of maybe the casualness of using my wallet in a maybe walk around or more casual setting. All right, so the peak area is large, 6 items on there. You can stare at it a long time to get that information and return to it. All the ad copy is accurate on this product. There's no heat on these note cards when you're performing. They just look like normal cards. You can do multiple routines, which I really appreciate. So you could do multiple routines with your peak device because they provide ways and ideas with that. So it's not like a one-trick pony there. You can get refills for it. I would probably, let's talk a little bit about sort of the pros and cons here, and it's a little bit of both. If I was to perform this in a walk-around situation, it's about a little smaller than a pack of cards or a deck of cards. My pockets are already filled with decks of cards and a wallet and everything else, so it might be a little bulky. If I carry it around in my pocket, it might bend up my cards a little bit. I don't think it's going to cause a problem for the gimmick, but it might bend up my cards. So I will likely carry this if I bring it out in a very casual setting in my breast pocket, because if I have a jacket with a breast pocket. Or I might actually put it in some sort of a carrying case. I might actually take a tuck case and keep it in a tuck case just so it keeps it a little bit flatter and cleaner and easier to use. It might be a funny way to actually begin the routine by thinking they're going to see a card trick, but instead they're going to see a feat of mentalism. Yes, I think that's all I'll say there. All right, so some of the cons, there's not really a lot of cons here. You sort of heard the things that I had said earlier. I think it's perfect for the worker. I don't really think this is great EDC, everyday carry, personally. I think it's a little bit more for the working professional magician in those types of settings. And I'm not even sure it's great for walk around. I don't know if I would use this a lot in walk around, but something for you to consider. You know your own character better. As long as you can control your angles and you don't have people behind you, you're fine. Okay. I think that's all I have to say about the cons. Who's going to like this look? If you're a mentalist and you're looking for a new way in which to get your peaks that's low tech and people are writing information down. I know a lot of people use business cards to write stuff down that seems natural and stuff, but I kind of like this. I like it particularly if you're a mentalist who has a challenge in getting multiple pieces of information or multiple people at the same time. You want to get information out of each of them. You could use a single card to get multiple pieces of information as a worker, and I think that is great with this product. All right, let's talk a little bit about the cost. In the United States, this costs $59.95, and in the UK, it's £52.99. That may be, for some folks, feel like it's a little expensive. I don't think it is, given that it's a well-made, high-quality gimmick that is geared for the worker. And because of that, I think that is a reasonable price. I could have got the instructions, and I would have liked the instructions on how to make it. But ultimately, even if I did, I would probably just know Mark makes a great quality gimmick, and I'm going to prefer to have him make it and pay for it. And it will earn its keep in a professional setting. So, but something for you to consider in terms of when you're looking at a price point there. Okay, I hope that was helpful. That is Insider by Marc Oberon. If you liked this video, hit that like button. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. Helps with the algorithms for YouTube. I would love it if you haven't already to go ahead and subscribe. I try to get one of these up every single week. And leave a comment. If you purchased it, tell me what you thought about it, or any comment you'd like to. It's just nice to say hi to you as well. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, leave them in the comments as well, and I'll do my best to answer them. All right, I'm FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.